Hello everyone, good morning. This is Yukiyami. I'm coming to you again. This is actually going to be my second take for this video, because I did not know that YouTube is really picky about the length of video that you upload before you are verified, what have you. Um, so I tried to upload a 20-minute version of this video, and I'm going to now have to keep it under 15, which I didn't know. But that's fine. Um, so this video is going to be about my journey through video games. Um, More specifically about what kind of games I played and how I played them. Just moving on through my life. I'm also going to be playing this over one of my favorite video games just of all time, which is Pokemon Coliseum. Um, so I would like to begin with how I started playing video games. Um, when I was very young, extremely young, 2 years old. Um, the My father had a Game Boy Color, and he liked Pokemon. Um, at some point, um, uh, he was at an airport. He was waiting for a flight, and he purchased Pokemon Silver, and he played it with me on his lap at the airport to pass time. Um, Now, it's kind of a romantic thing to think of this as the beginning of my video game career, watching my father play before I was old enough to not shit my pants. Um, but it's also kind of the way I do think about it. I am kind of a romantic. Um, so if you want to be, and even if you don't want to be a romantic, Pokemon was, and still is a good part of my video gaming history. I adore Pokemon. I have been playing it since ever. It was my first game I ever played. Um, Whether or not I mean in the sense that it was the first game that was played in front of me and I got to watch, but also it was really the first game that I played that I owned. You know, I remember getting Pokemon Fire Red and the Charizard Limited Edition Game Boy Advance SP. Um, and that was the first console I owned that was mine, and I played. Obviously, I also played some other games before that point. I had been playing, some of the games my dad owned on his Game Boy Color. Uh, you know, some top-down shooter game as an airplane, basically just bad Galaga. Uh, you know, um, some other older Pokemon games, that kind of thing. But the real first game that was mine, and I owned it, and I owned the system, and I played it by myself, was Fire Red. It's like the first game I can distinctly remember playing. Um, Obviously, not too long after that, I started playing, Pokemon games everywhere, and we had a GameCube, so I played Super Smash Bros. Melee and Star Fox Assault, which is, again, a game I still love and adore, and would resist anyone telling me is terrible. Um, and some of the games that Dad had played in the arcades got put onto collections and remasters on the console, so we played some of those as well. Um, we played a lot together. Um, Mom was not as receptive. My parents are divorced. Context here. My mother was not as receptive. I often had to be careful when I played, or had to play. Uh, let's just say, I think illicitly is a fun way to say that. Um, um, I played under the covers at night, or when no one else was home, or those kind of things. So that did happen. Uh, and I think, by and large, mostly what I played was Pokemon. I also played a collection of other games, but Pokemon was the important bit of my early gaming career. Uh, During the life cycle of the Wii, Dad purchased Resident Evil 4, which was the first M-rated game I ever saw witness to personally, which it may have been a little early, but it honestly wasn't that big a deal. So that was the first M-rated game, and then during the Wii's life cycle, we also picked up Obora Muramasa, was still one of my favorite games of all time. Also known as Muramasa the Demon Blade in Western releases. And then Xenoblade Chronicles, another important game for me. And somewhere along that same time frame, I also picked up a PC, a laptop that was vaguely strong and could game at like absolute minimum settings. For which the first game I purchased was the Orange Box. I was not good at any of the three games there, and I basically never touched Half-Life 2. But I did enjoy Team Fortress 2 a lot. Very much. And I did also really like Portal. It took me a long time to beat Portal myself. Really, it did. I didn't play it very much myself. But, additionally, so I played those three games, and I kind of got like a little bit into speedrunning as a thing, and some fighting games happened around that time just as like a curiosity. I don't think I really played them that much at the time. So that's about where that lives in the timeline. I need Fatine to tell me where I need to go. Okay. Well, that's easy enough. So yeah, I lost my train of thought, which is fun. It didn't happen in the first take, but the first take was chaotic. So that was where I was. I played those games on PC, and I got sort of a little into like speedrunning and fighting games and more sort of fringe video game stuff. Eventually, the Wii U came out and stuff like that. Okay, I don't know how to actually like get into the challenge, so that's fun. Yeah, now I'm stuck. It's been ages. So the so at the end of after that, the next really big things that happen. I mean, like I play Xenoblade Chronicles X on Wii U. Smash for Wii U comes out. I start getting more into fighting games. A little ways after that, I buy my PS3. I buy a PS3, that kind of thing. I play Persona 3 and some more fighting games. And eventually I start, I get a much better PC at some point. And also, like, I start playing games at higher settings and more taxing games and those kinds of things. Blah, blah, blah. I forget. There's like a bit where I think it's not now. I don't. Maybe I do have to go talk to the police chief instead. Oh, well, that doesn't help me. Um, so yeah, I got a newer PC, a better PC, a stronger PC that lets me play those kind of games. And I do okay. I mean, it's just a bad time in my life too, but I start playing much more diverse games. I'm playing shooters, I'm playing MMOs, I'm playing MOBAs, which I didn't. I started MOBAs at sort of the tail end of high school. I think maybe not even actually until I was out of high school. But I do also play MOBAs in that section of time. Um, and I do. I I'm doing a lot of varied games, and then I buy PS4 for Monster Hunter World, or just to get Monster Hunter World a little early, which is kind of dumb. And to get Persona 5, which sequel to one of my favorite games of all time. So I figured I would get it, even though the Persona games aren't really like direct sequels. Like that's not the same thing. Um, and into now where you know I do lots of cycling in and out of games. It's in my notes as cycles of interest, where it's not necessarily that things cycle in and out of my interests. It's more that I think things cycle. It's more that they cycle in and out, not that they follow a cyclical pattern. Um, you know, it's not necessarily that things are in like a set order. They're not in a circle. They don't cycle back and forth to the same things. It's more that okay, this is the right thing to do. It's more that they cycle in and out various patterns. These days I'm much more stable. I like to play older Pokemon games like this one every so often and just enjoy them. Or some of the fan games are just Pokemon games in general. But also, the main game that I play tends to rotate every so often, but not usually at any sort of. It's really weird. This is the longest I've gone in a long time without it rotating out. Like for a bit, it was Warframe, and I played Warframe for a bit, for a few months, and then I would play League of Legends again for a few months, and then I would do this, that, or the other. And now I've been playing 14 as my main game, Final Fantasy 14, as my main game for more than a few months, and now it's just the game I play, and it doesn't show any signs of leaving. I'm not getting burnt out on it. I'm enjoying it, which is really weird, because I do tend to get burned out pretty quick on some games, but no, 14 is holding my interest very strongly. Um, so there's that. I think that's not quite everything I wanted to cover, but for time, I do think that has to be the end of this video. Um, so there is that. I will work on trying to keep my time a little bit more within bounds, I think is the correct thing to say. But just like last time, I want to thank literally all of you who watched this video for spending the time listening to me talk about things that are mostly just about me and don't really help you at all. Thanks so much to everyone who wished me well and watched the last video and left a comment or a like. I, again, really, really appreciate anything you can do, anything that people do on this channel for basically my benefit. I really appreciate it. And just, thank you and take care of yourselves. And I hope to see you either in the comment section or I hope you watch my next video. Thank you so much and goodbye.